Celebrating the art of fighting without fighting with a slice of history and 3 classic martial arts movies. Tonight, BBC Two declares, I love Kung Fu.
Do not go with fear. Fear is eternal darkness. Go instead with inner strength, for it is like a deep river into which all streams flow. It increases, always moving forward, and soon there is nothing that can stand in its way.
Okay, the real thing's Jackie.
Please, somebody with a knife attack me.
I mean, as good as it gets.
The lion doesn't roar to the baying of an ass.
You've been looking through my wardrobe again, haven't you?
Don't look Japanese to me, baby.
It's fantasy. Kung Fu fighting!
I told him about this song. You can actually kill someone by just winking at them.
Don't think. Feel.
Bam! There comes a blow.
Wow.
Grasshopper?
Perfect part for me.
How much kung fu does this cat know?
Henry?
Oi, dogger, come here.
He's the king of kung fu.
Okay, good. That's my trademark.
The common theory is, although there are many theories and many people disagree on this, is that Bodhidharma brought Kung Fu, or what ended up being Kung Fu, from India over to China.
Kung Fu, the martial arts, got sort of codified and structured at a monastery called the Shaolin Monastery, where the monks developed this unarmed combat, closely linked to religion, to magic, to all those mysterious things that human beings keep asking questions about and never quite get the answers to.
When you believe in things that you don't understand and you suffer, superstition ain't the way.
If you practice hard and long enough, you will end up possessing supernatural powers.
Yes, it's intellectual, spiritual, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, the main point about kung fu is it looks great.
About 15 years ago, I went to see Chairman of the Board at Warner Brothers, and I showed him a film called Duel to the Death. Guys are flying through the air, and people are running up on the walls, and people are going through the branches of the trees, and they threw me out of the office. I said, it's fantasy. I said, what do you think Kung Fu is? I said, it's fantasy. And it's everything they're doing today.
A lot of people saw Crouching Tiger, they were like, oh, they ran across the trees. I'm like, no, you don't understand, that's traditional kung fu. If they didn't fly, it wouldn't have been a kung fu movie. And you gotta just believe that once you master the art, you can do that. Whether you can or not, we'll see. On any dark night, any good kung fu master can fly and run across the tops of the trees. Please believe that. I can.
have not endured the most difficult, you cannot become the most successful.
My last name is Lee, Bruce Lee. The tiger that start like a tiger, using claw to claw the face, or the beak of the crane to the eyes to move. This is some of the movement about.
The closer you get, the better you look, baby.
First time I was aware of Bruce Lee was I got one of those kind of American film monster magazines, which always had a bit of a superhero tip in there as well. And they mentioned a series called The Green Hornet. He was basically a dude in a mod suit, little green mask, little green trilby, and he was out there fighting crime. And he had a chauffeur, and the chauffeur was Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee, king of Kung Fu. See the fury of his flying feet.
Hollywood told him, no, there's no way an Asian male is going to be a big hero. But if you knew Bruce, you knew it was going to happen.
Bruce came to me and told me that he had this offer of very little money to do these films in Hong Kong. And I said, listen, Bruce, that'd be great. I mean, just go back there and then we'll have some film.
Be nice to your customers, sweetheart. Yeah, we're very thirsty, sweetheart. We need to cool off.
Leave me alone, you're hurting me.
When you watch a movie like The Big Boss, it's really great because Bruce Lee plays a character who's been told not to beat anybody up, which is great because it's Bruce Lee. I mean, of course he's going to beat someone up. And I think that's the point of Bruce Lee, is that all the time he has this intensity about him where you think something is going on in his head. He's going to explode. He's going to hurt people. When is it going to happen?
Hollywood ignored Bruce Lee as long as they could, but when his little films, The Big Boss and Chinese Connection, began to make serious money, they began to pay attention to him. And so, at the urging of Fred Weintraub and some other people, they decided to make Enter the Dragon, which of course became the seminal film that changed everything for Bruce Lee and in terms of martial arts movies.
My dad took me to see it, and I was so good that I couldn't speak afterwards.
Thank you.
Wow.
This is real Kung Fu.
Bruce was so nervous he didn't show up. And I shot for about 2 weeks without Bruce being on camera. And they kept calling and saying, let's see the stuff with Bruce. I didn't have anything. He was very nervous. Finally, when he did show up, I had an enormous twitch. And I kept saying to the director, just keep shooting. I think we did about 30 takes before it stopped. Bruce calmed down and it was fine.
There was something about him that you looked and your attention was drawn to it. And he didn't do anything fancy. He just did your basic kicks and punches. It's just that charisma.
Physically, he was just remarkable. If you show a picture of him, you can just see everyone's reaction is, here is a man who is at the very peak of physical fitness. He's as close to physically perfect as you could probably get yourself to be.
He was the first guy bare-chested. Not Rambo, not Arnold, and myself. He was the first guy to find out something beautiful about the movement. It was very sensual. He made love to the camera with his physicality and his charisma.
We need emotional content. Try again.
The other really rich thing was if you're an adolescent, the poetry in them.
It is like a finger pointing away to the moon.
Whoa!
Don't think. Feel.
Don't think, feel. And then feel this. What the dog?
Bruce Lee's movies always were set up at the beginning so that you were cheering for Bruce Lee. If you remember in Enter the Dragon, His sister is raped and beaten and murdered. And by the time the beginning of the film is over, you're jumping up and down saying, go get them, kill them, they deserve it.
You have offended my family, and you have offended the Shaolin Temple.
The common man loves to see that rare moment where even in fantasy the bad guys get their comeuppance.
How often have you wanted to just punch some wise guy in the mouth and finish it? It's just, you know, it's neat.
You go see Bruce Lee, you literally would be fighting at the snack bar. You want to see, can you kick somebody like that? And you want to act it out, but you know you can't do it. You know you can't do it.
Superman was a myth. Bruce Lee was real.
This is real kung fu. Out of billions of people, his willpower, his focus, his dedication, he created this character, Bruce Lee, and lived it. Changed cinema forever, but then did the whole James Dean thing. Died young.
There must be lights burning brighter.
Well, the autopsy says he had some hashish in his system. He was a womanizer to a degree, you know. Who knows what happened? There are so many theories, it's unbelievable.
Bruce had some swelling in the brain from time to time, some kind of minor epilepsy or something like that. And he was in Hong Kong and he was getting this swelling of the brain, and he was with a female friend of his, and she gave him some kind of medicine, and in fact his brain swelled up more. And that's how he really died. There's no truth to people trying to kill him or him being poisoned or having trouble with the Chinese mafia. None of that is true.
We're trapped in a world.
None of us in my circle of friends wanted to believe he was really dead because we could not accept that Bruce, who was the closest we'd ever seen to a real-life Superman, could possibly be mortal. And when, you know, you get a bit older and you realise this happens, tragically, people do get taken young, you know, I kind of still want to really believe the other things.
The film didn't open till a while later, and we opened it with a big dragon race down Hollywood Boulevard, in which his wife was there to see it, but he wasn't.
That the answer is gonna come.
When you think of Bruce Lee, you're not seeing him a bit like Stallone now or Schwarzenegger now. You know, you're not seeing him kind of crumbling and desiccated. What you're seeing is him just turning in the Hall of Mirrors with that tiger claw scratch across him with the blood flowing, frozen forever.
Wouldn't it be great if Bruce Lee and Elvis and Kurt Cobain are sitting together in some club somewhere going, "Go on, it's your round. Bruce, I'm not arguing with you. I know you can kick me harder, but I bought the last ones." And Elvis sitting there, pigging out on some kind of huge Chinese spare rib delicacy that Bruce has whipped up for him. I like to think that whatever stupid club they belong to, they're all very happy.
Find a job you love, and you will never have to work a day in your life.
Kung Fu, I think, for kids has always been popular because they think it's real and they think it's cool and they think it's dangerous.
Remember, Kung Fu is the art of self-defense. I'm not interested in killing. I just want to prove how bad your things are.
If you're an 11-year-old, this is quite cool.
Literally, the moment the bell went and you got in the playground, you had to be on your guard. Every sense keenly aware. An attack could come from any direction, from any person. Friend or foe, alliances shifted, like the sands of time. I remember one kid in particular, a black mate of mine called Patrick Robinson, like a cat. Ha, 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 ha.
Raise your left leg and kick, at the same time shouting,
What's that? Lots of kind of pushing hands going on. Chi, life force, stuff we didn't understand. Stuff which probably doesn't actually make any sense even to people who claim to know about it.
Oh, I know a thing or two about martial arts myself, you know, I do. Oh, yeah.
That became our kind of lexicon.
The art of what I speak is a total philosophy, a self-discipline of mind, body, and spirit. Allow me to elucidate.
Days of comfort, days of night.
When you're a kid, you think you want to learn how to have the best kicks and the best punches. And I was one of those lucky people who got in with teachers who explained to me, in the developing of the physical man, also there has to be the perfecting of the spiritual self.
I can remember walking up and down the streets in pretty heavy areas, hoping somebody would attack me. Please, somebody with a knife attack me. Once you go for your first black belt, you suddenly realise martial art is not for aggression. Martial art is for defending.
It takes a lifetime to understand the marriage between physical and mind, and if you can achieve that, you can go to the next level, which is the spirit.
Kung Fu!
This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island.
The script was called Kung Fu. And I thought, wow, I don't know, until I opened it.
This land was made for you and me.
It was deep. It was radical. I was amazed that they were going to do something like this on television. I couldn't believe that they were. And I thought, I got to be in it. I mean, this is a perfect part for me.
Kane, the most unlikely hero the West has ever known.
My mission amounted to a TV evangelist for the art.
I won't laugh at you when you boo-hoo-hoo, 'cause I love you.
I had a friend who was third dan in Shotokan karate, and he mentioned that his Chinese wife could lay him out with 2 fingers.
I just like the things you do.
So I inquired what this was, and he said it was Kung Fu. And my idea was to take this Chinese martial arts Kung Fu and create a Western venue for it.
In a spot that's all the smile you got, and I love you.
I used to watch Kung Fu religiously, and it was a strange whole dynamics of a Chinese man in the West walking around.
What will you do? Work. Wonder. Rest when I can.
Kung Fu TV series is essentially the story of Kwai Chan Caine, who is a Shaolin monk who unfortunately is involved in some tragedy, and he has to flee China and go and live in the Wild West.
They say you're wanted for murder in China.
And at the time, it was the single most important thing in my life. It was my punk, in a way.
He's a very special kind of Chinaman. He walks through walls. You won't hear him, see him, or touch him.
I'll touch him with this.
The best bits weren't that nonsense. When he walks into town, people have a go at him, he's finally pushed beyond belief, and then he has a punch-up, of course, and leaves the town. That was always a bit boring. The bits we all watched it for were the flashbacks, the little bits of philosophy.
The guy with the eyeballs that you couldn't see, that was the master.
Grasshopper?
Yes, Master.
Is it I or a dream?
He was Master Po, and his affectionate nickname for Kwai Chan Caine was Grasshopper.
Grasshopper, no man stepped twice into the same river.
Does not the pebble entering the water begin fresh journeys?
And you're thinking Sunday afternoon, it can get no better than this.
Grasshopper, a man may tell himself many things, but is a man's universe made only of himself?
I caught them once in a while, pulling stuff out of Bartlett's familiar quotations.
Peace lies not in the world, Grasshopper, but in the man who walks the path.
I mean, you have to remember that, I hate to say this, that some of it was complete bollocks.
There's no wrong way out. What Mither and Clutterbucks don't barley grum it.
It was like Hi-Ho Silver, you know, like the Lone Ranger. It became part of contemporary jargon.
Grasshopper. Every time I would go into a bar, I'd sit down at a table, you know, with my Coca-Cola or my coffee or whatever it was I had, and somebody would send over a grasshopper. And have you ever drunk a grasshopper? It is a vile drink.
Your first lesson in meditation, Greenhopper, is to learn how to lose yourself in the dark.
But it is still light, Master.
Your wisdom does you credit, Greenhopper.
It wasn't exactly flavor of the month, it was like flavor of the decade.
Come, Greenhopper, join me in the dark.
Yes, Master.
You still have much to learn, Greenhopper.
The man without a nickname will never be rich. If you wish to know the mind of a man, listen to his words.
Yeah, I love that music.
Then what?
Hey, 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 hey. Yes, the king of the Kung Fu song.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. It's pretty easy.
Oh, it felt like long distance from a flat mountain somewhere.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. Bruce Lee, there was the TV series with David Carradine, even people like Charles Bronson and Steve McQueen going into martial arts. I decided I'm going to stay with the fighting. I'm going to introduce music into it. The art of using music to fight and dance.
It's an ancient Chinese art, and everybody knew their part. From a fainting to
Hier ist Carl Douglas und Kung Fu Fighting.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Then you had a couple of hers and a couple of ha's, right?
Those cats were fast as lightning. Yeah, and they were.
Those guys are a little bit frightening.
But they did it with expert timing. Because that is what you'd have to do if you're a kung fu master.
Everybody was kung fu fine. Yes, it was a little bit frightening. Man's a genius to get away with that. He's a genius.
everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning.
I was talking to some people, and suddenly a guy came out and he said, "You know about the charts for tomorrow?" I said, he said, "You just kicked the Osmonds off #1. We drove all the way to King's Cross, where you can get the early papers sometimes, and bought the Daily Mirror. God, in front of the Osmonds, in front of Elton John, in front of Johnny Bristol, all these people. Look where I am." I said, "Well, you know, they should have listened to me. I told them about this song."
En de top 3 die kent iedereen nu al zo'n beetje uit zijn hoofd, want het is dezelfde van vorige week. Dat wil zeggen op 3 Swinging on a Star. Op de tweede plaats de George Baker Selection. En dan komen we op 1 en dan kennen we natuurlijk onmiddellijk en herkennen we natuurlijk onmiddellijk Carl Douglas.
The song came out, sold 9 million copies. And it went to #1 in America, and I think it sold about 3 million copies in America.
It's been said that it's been #1 in every musical territory on the planet Earth. When Pi Records said, "Now this thing is going like out of the window, we have to follow it up quick," I said, "Guess what? Can we use one of the other singles that we had decided to do?" I said, "No, because you've taken on this aura, this image of the Kung Fu fighter, and people want to hear more Kung Fu songs." And so Dance the Kung Fu was the follow-up.
Oh, dance the kung fu.
It's where are you ever going to go with that? Of course that wasn't going to be here. Of course that wasn't. But if anybody has a copy on vinyl, I would kill for it.
This is all you do now. You just
He that is afraid to throw the dice will never roll a 6.
Born from an egg on a mountain top.
Ah, yes, monkey magic. I remember it very well, yes.
It was a good setup for a start. The egg at the beginning and all that cracking, and then a bear jumps out.
The nature of monkey was irrepressible.
It wasn't even a monkey.
When I hear the music, I feel excited. Even now.
Grabbed you straight away.
I would watch it age 5 and completely understand it. I watch it now, 20 years later, I haven't got a clue what's going on.
Come on, all of you. Know that monkey loves a fight. Voices, oh yes, the voices are fantastic, huh? Go on, Steph.
The dubbing was brilliant.
The dubbing was fantastic.
Oh, I love bad dubbing.
Oh, yeah, the dubbing. Oh, yes, of course.
No attempt made to match the speech to the lip movements.
Is that so?
No attempt made a lot of the time, even to make the speech match the amount of time somebody's lip move.
Well, my simian friend, you have met your match here. Oi, Dogger, come here.
We loved the fact that the mouse went completely different directions from what was actually being heard.
A monkey against King Havoc, and it hasn't even got a stick.
Monkey was like a cartoon. It really was tremendously strong characters. It was like watching the banana splits.
Completely barking mad from start to finish.
Dressing up like a man doesn't make you better than me. Such rudeness and bad manners, there's no excuse at all.
Do you know me? Everything is within this, and this is within everything. I am Tathagata Buddha.
I always thought you were a fella.
Monkey is a story about a pure-hearted young monk who goes on a journey to retrieve some ancient manuscripts. And he takes with him sort of 3 magical animals. One is a monkey, who is actually a monkey god, a monkey king. One is a pig, and a monster.
It was a road movie without a car.
The story itself reminds me of China. It's continental in dimension, and there are human beings, a pig and a monkey in it. By travelling together, the human beings will understand their own origins.
Sorry, monkey.
The gold ring on my head was not just a fashion statement.
That was put on him by Buddha because he's a bad lad. He was a monkey. He's a cheeky monkey. And when he was being a cheeky monkey, Tripitaka used to go...
In my mind, the ring is the one thing which guided me and forced me to walk straight in the right direction and not do the wrong things.
It's stuck there. It's stuck. It won't come off. I'll kill you for this.
They would be on this mission and then always encounter baddies along the way. And Monkey had amazing kung fu skills.
Ah, you're not scared of a monkey.
And so they would always win.
He loves to fight. He loves to kill demons.
No, what you want is over here.
What? Is that it?
It is.
Monkey has a magic wishing staff.
It's really huge.
It can get even larger, but it does get smaller too.
Made of the strongest element of the universe and is a fantastic weapon.
Will you do that for me?
He'd keep it behind his ear. You know, when it's not in use.
Go on, make it bigger.
Yes, big again.
He'd sort of whiz it round his head and it'd grow into a nice big stuff.
Stick, grow little.
The stick lived behind his ear and it was about like that big.
Grow again, stick. Grow nice and large again for King Monkey. Whee! Oh, I really like that. Big or small, that's useful.
As a result of using the stick, I got tendonitis. The grip in my right hand became so strong that when I played golf, every ball was hooked. It ruined my game.
You're not scared of a monkey.
Young people relish fine clothes. Old people prefer food.
Black, red embroidered Chinese character with red belt.
You've been looking through my wardrobe again, haven't you?
I think my brother might have had red with a black belt. So we coordinated slightly.
I did have a pair of Kung Fu pyjamas. I had a matching, get this, Kung Fu dressing gown to go with it. Very nice.
You'd get them in the catalogue, you'd pay your 60p a week for 10 weeks, and you'd get yourself a pair of pyjamas that were either just a basic cotton copy of your Kung Fu outfit, but it wouldn't be in the heavy canvas that the real Kung Fu, so it would be in fine pyjama cotton.
Slightly off-mast to the sleeve and leg. But that's the way they came, wasn't because your mum put them on the wrong cycle.
You get pyjamas with a big dragon on them, and they were a really cool thing to wear.
My son has got some karate pyjamas and he likes them very much. And I think he thinks when he puts them on that just by putting them on, he can handle himself. And that's a good thing, especially when you're 7.
wanna hold her tight. That teenage kicks right through the night.
I seem to remember the belt coming off and going on the head occasionally as well, which was a nice effect. It's when you're a little kid, though. No, I'm not talking 12. I'm talking about 6, 7, you know, because it was cool to have them then.
I wanna hold her tight.
I never had Kung Fu pyjamas. But you know, I don't think it's too late.
Who is this superhero?
Could it be Sarge?
No.
Was it Rosemary, the telephone operator?
No.
Henry, the mild-mannered janitor?
Could be.
My favourite ever kids cartoon is
Hong Kong Phooey, #1 super guy. Hong Kong Phooey, quicker than the human eye.
Henry, the mild-mannered janitor, works at a police station and there might be a crime, and then he suddenly comes up with a plan. He'll jump into his filing cabinet, come out, and then go down the chute into his car, and then he'll go off and try and foil the crime.
Quicker than the human eye. Ticky-chong, ticky-chong.
They never figured out that Henry was Hong Kong Phooey. Come on.
There she is, Spot. The most valuable painting in the world. The Mona Pizza. Kinda makes a fella hungry. But nobody's gonna steal it tonight, because I'm gonna be sleeping on it.
If in the Far East they had taken the Lord Jesus Christ, a religious figure, and turned him into a cartoon character, there would quite rightly in the Daily Mail have been uproar. But we somehow felt it was perfectly all right to introduce the whole system of philosophy of the East and turn it into one of the weakest Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
It's the super enemy of all criminals, Hong Kong Phooey.
It was a very strange concept, really. It was a sort of spaniel, wasn't it?
I don't like the way you said Phooey, but that's me, the world's greatest crime fighter.
A spaniel in an orange dressing gown.
Henry, did you see Hong Kong Phooey's picture on page 1?
Well, that's no surprise. He always gets his man.
Yeah. I hope when he starts getting women, I'm the one.
Hello, hello. It's your darling cop with the curly locks.
Oh, don't let me see what she looks like. I don't want to see what she looks like. That's like that woman from The Simpsons. That's just not right. You don't speak to them in real life.
Hello, hello. It's your female police with the dimpled cheek.
Oh, hi, Gloria. Are you going to the Hong Kong Phooey fan club meeting tonight?
She obviously has a great deal of admiration for Hong Kong Phooey, interspecies admiration, because Rosemary is a human and Hong Kong Phooey, after all, is a canine. But that was, of course, never discussed. I used to wonder about that.
Hong Kong Phooey, we love you way. Woo, 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 way.
That was sort of the gestalt of the whole thing. If you could say that Hong Kong Phooey had gestalt, that was it.
Henry, don't you ever have the desire to be more like Hong Kong Phooey?
Oh, shucks, Rosemary. Guess I'm just cut out to be a humble janitor and all-round fix-it man.
The voice was great because it's Scatman Crothers, you know. Look at the Hong Kong Book of Kung Fu.
Here's a tricky one. The Wonton Wahoo.
And then, of course, after Hong Kong Phooey, he went on and he did all of these films. I guess he was in Cocoon and he was in The Shining. And I mean, all of a sudden I'm looking, oh my God, it's Penry. And he's working with Kubrick. Whoa.
I wonder if I ever congratulated Mom and Dad about me.
Hong Kong Phooey. Penrific.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Hand against hand, foot against foot. There's no perfect technique.
It's karate time!
We've all heard of judo, but here in Tokyo, there is another form of self-defense in which Japan leads the world. It's called karate, and it's so deadly that most of the Japanese are frightened of it.
I used to get bullied at school, and then I'd go 3 times a week to this karate class, which was really hard, and get beaten up by big blokes in pyjamas.
Exploit your opponent's momentum, converting a trip and a throw out of his attack.
Wonderful thing about karate was I had all the belts thing. So, you know, you had your white belt, you're not graded, then you do your first grading, you know, and then you get your yellow belt and your green belt.
Just move on!
White, yellow, orange, green, purple. There was 2 browns, and then there was black. And then you did your dance after that.
Can you imagine sitting, holding hands with a delicate young thing who could punch her way through 2 planks with her dainty little white fist?
I got my 2nd Dan black belt, which I was pretty chuffed about.
There was that feeling that this was some incredible ancient art where people could kill you just by blinking.
What can you do? Can you kill with just one finger?
Can you actually kill someone by just winking at them?
I wouldn't want to. Why should I kill you? You've done no harm to me.
Joey's older brother's doing karate. He's had to register his hands at the police station as lethal weapons.
I'm told that the police here regard karate experts as being in possession of a dangerous weapon and that it isn't a sport.
There's a guy called Lacoste Jacob. He was the one who could kill a man with his nose, he said.
There was a mistake about pressure points. These kind of soft lads could come up and put their fingers somewhere on your neck or somewhere on your temple, and that's it, you're a goner.
There was a school bully, Paul Hannon. He was like quite small, but he was like a typical rock-hard kid. And he came up to me one day, and he sort of like that, and he goes, "Do you do karate, Bly?" And I looked at him and went, "I might do." And he went, and he never bothered me again.
And finally, the hard men of Hardcastle are about to attempt the Guinness Book of Records breeze block smashing with their foreheads. They'd be about to punch one of the hardest things known to men, and they'd lay a tea towel over it. Almost like a cushion, and then hutta! 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 Hutta!
I read the script and I thought, this guy hasn't got much to say. He doesn't have very much screen time. My agent very wisely said to me, "Bert, you want 4 weeks' money?" And I said, yes. So I did it. And I had no idea that it was going to explode into this thing that it has since become. One of the jobs Kato has to do is at all times be prepared to attack Clouseau by surprise when Clouseau is least expecting it. I suppose one of the reasons why they were so successful was just taking the out of all that Far Eastern mumbo jumbo, if you like. do it for real. Can't kill anybody with my bare hands.
Monsieur Clouseau's residence. One moment, please. For you.
Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to World of Sport.
Saturday afternoon, Dickie Davis with that little white tuft that made your mum's eyes twinkle.
And the professional wrestling bill, well, I think that you'll find that will be most entertaining indeed.
Yeah, Jackie, Mr. TV, Palo.
Ryan Goldbelt Maxine, the British middleweight champion.
Yeah, Big Daddy, of course.
Catweasel and Bad Bobby Barnes.
And we had the mystery man, the masked warrior, Kendo Nagasaki.
It's not important for you to know my name.
But the wrestler whose face you never saw.
We communicate for 2 minutes only, it won't be it. No.
Suddenly these wrestlers were now kung fu wrestlers. They still continued to do wrestling, except they did it in a mask.
Nice switch fight, Nagasaki.
My milkman knew kung fu better than Kendo Nagasaki. Matter of fact, my milkman might well have been Kendo Nagasaki for all I know. That's the brilliance of wearing a mask.
And it's a kamikaze crash coming. There it is.
Nagasaki is a black belt in judo, aikido and kendo. He was a protege of Keneshiro Abe, who at that time was the youngest judo 8th dan in the world. So it's a genuine article. I can tell you now, there's only ever been one Kendo Nagasaki, and this is him here now.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Civic Hall, Wolverhampton, where tonight I will presently be performing a ceremony that has never voluntarily been performed. The unveiling and the unmasking of Kendo Nagasaki. Thank you.
The only time the mask came off legally was when Kendo decided to unmask voluntarily. No one had beaten him and he decided to unmask. They did the ceremony of the unmasking and they burnt the mask in the ring.
It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. At my nan's house, I think it was Boxing Day. I've seen some movies, it's ironic, isn't it? They unmasked him and burned his mask. And he had red eyes. He had red eyes.
It don't look Japanese to me, baby. The lion doesn't roar to the baying of an ass. It doesn't matter what they think. Who cares what they think? This man is the most successful wrestler of all time.
As water drips through stone, so with patience and determination, even the weak
man who's being picked on, having to be moved away from someplace in a new neighborhood, all that kind of stuff is, I think, very relatable to a lot of people, especially a lot of kids.
5 young men who were the nemesis for the Karate Kid. If they spoke in class, or if they brushed their hair, or if they tried to fix their belt, I made them do push-ups. They never opened their mouth unless I said they could. Then I trained Pat and Ralph together, and with them I was very light and easy. So everybody was trained in a way that I felt that their character should show itself on the screen.
I promise teach karate, not to my part. You promise learn. I say you do, no question.
I had a teacher who was similar to Mr. Miyagi, and what he would teach was that the belts and the gis and all this stuff meant nothing.
Tie up. Down, wrong stroke.
So instead of teaching us how to do proper blocks, he gets him painting the fence and he's sweeping it, waxing on. He waxes on the card and waxes off the card.
Wax on, right hand. Wax off, left hand.
Subliminally, he was teaching Daniel blocks.
Wax on, wax off.
Wax on, wax off.
That's no fool. How hard would it be to get past that?
Daniel gets really annoyed and he goes, oh, this is not learning martial arts. And then suddenly Mr. Miyagi goes to throw a punch. And he goes, oh, I see it's a block. You see, it's like listening to something when you're sleeping.
He's got that novel kick, hasn't he? The kick that everybody tried in the playground and got told off by the teachers.
I used to spend hours on the beach like that. He's standing there sweating at the end and you're sitting going, oh my God, is he going to do it?
Oh yeah, there's Daniel. He's going to do that move. Actually, I'll be ready for it this time. They never are.
Ready? Guard! Ice!
Ready, steady,
I would have tackled his ass. I don't think you can stand on one foot and kick nobody's ass like that.
Oh, it's complete nonsense. It's brilliant.
Bruce is no doubt spinning athletically in his grave.
Karate Kid? Kid? Huh, I'm 35. You lack focus. My master will teach you.
Arnold, from Happy Days?
Lipton Brisk Iced Tea? Where did you get that?
Editing mistake, in my favor. Brisk baby! Only fool fight man with Brisk.
Strawberry flavor.
You can sum up the Far East very well if you're an advertiser. It's an easy package to sell.
This is high karate. And this unsuspecting girl is about to catch its irresistible scent.
This is different. This is slightly exotic. If you buy this, you're a bit classy.
That's why there's a special leaflet on self-defense in every pack.
Everywhere you went was kung fu.
From out of the East comes a taste of a new way of life.
One of my karate teachers, Anoida Sensei, he did that. He came through a wall and... Wow, it's great.
Crunchy.
The real karate master doing real karate on the telly.
Kung Fu-y.
With crisps.
The smashing new snack from Golden Wonder.
When using the fist, don't stand on ceremony. When using the lightsaber, don't expect two sounds.
Hollywood's really taken to Kung Fu. They've realised that it's not just about naff, kitsch, dubbed movies from the 70s. It can be really cool and really stylish. George Lucas obviously picked up on that vibe and included it in The Phantom Menace.
If there's any weapon in any movie that I could possibly ever have, it would be a lightsaber. Can you imagine having a lightsaber? Particularly in the pub.
I just remember seeing this picture of this character standing there with a double-ended lightsaber, all in black. I thought, yeah, I have to do this part. This part is for me. The stunt coordinator, I got a phone call from him, and he asked me to come down, and we just had a chat, and then he wrote a fight to show George Lucas. And I was just brought down for the week just to rehearse it, and then we were going to shoot it at the end of the week and show George and see if he liked it.
I like that.
I started Kung Fu to get into movies because I was sort of fascinated by all this, the martial art movies, because I watched all the 36 Chambers of Shaolin and to the Ninja versus Shaolin, stuff, movies like that. So I wanted to get in and do that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I know Ray Park is a very, very accomplished martial artist, very accomplished. What he did was technically brilliant. I mean, absolutely brilliant.
The lightsaber fights was really, I used techniques from, the bow staff or in Wushu, the cudgel. And I used to sort of specialise in the cudgel routine in competition. And so all the flower, the wu-hua, all the, the flowery movements and the spinning, I brought that from the cudgel. He's that cocky and that confident. But that's skillful, that he could be flowery and in between each move he can do like a spin in before it, but it just showing his arrogance.
That was quite a dull film, ultimately, and I think maybe a little bit more of Chop Socky involvement would have boosted it. Even Ewan McGregor, he's a lovely bloke, but come on. Jackie Chan's kid brother could probably wipe the floor with him.
There's absolutely no question in your mind that this dude is a master.
The biggest star, I would say, pound for pound, then your Harrison Fords, then your Sean Connerys. A man who can direct, who does all his own stunts, a man with a fantastic sense of humour, and there's no other movie star in the history of movies who could ever do all of that. And kick your butt in a kebab takeaway on a Saturday night.
Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan's the man.
I'm not like Robert De Niro or Dustin Hoffman. They only have one kind of audience. But Jackie Chan, I have two kind of audience. The audience who been watching my film for 20 years. And new audience, they watch like Rush Hour or Shanghai Noon. Wow. New action star. I'm not new action star, I'm not old action star. I've been in the film business for 40 years.
He trained at one of those, the Peking opera schools. And these schools were really, really tough on the kids. They were forced to hold incredibly difficult positions for hours.
Most of them coming out of these camps go into stunt work. And he was in a lot of Bruce Lee movies as a stuntman.
I'm totally opposite than Bruce Lee. He a superhero, I'm not.
He was signed up by a guy called Law Wei, who had directed Bruce Lee's movies. And there was something about Jackie. They'd made a new star and a new kind of movie, a kung fu comedy. Eventually, far past the date when it should have happened, made the transition to the West with Rumble in the Bronx, and then became huge with Rush Hour. And as we sit here, Hollywood is at his feet.
Get up, get on up, get up, get on up, stay on the scene, get on up, like a sex machine, get on up.
Jackie Chan is practically a corporation.
Whoa.
He's a one-man walking, talking, high-kicking brand.
In the Asian territories, he is like Tom Cruise and Clint Eastwood and, you know, you name any other big star at the moment, all rolled into one. He's the biggest thing going. He is like a god.
Most inspiration me, I think, is the Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin, Harold Lloyd, Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly.
We would sit for hours and look at silent movies because that's where Jackie got all those good ideas for doing some of the stunts.
Fred Astaire, he really gave me an idea, used a lot of props.
In Project A, there's a scene where he's trying to escape on a bike. He uses this bike as a weapon. Fantastically, throwing it around and blocking people. During the course of that, the saddle falls off, which of course we see, but the character Jackie's playing hasn't noticed. So when he puts it down and jumps on to make his escape, he lands on the pointed saddle. If you want to call that normal wisdom, you call it normal wisdom. I'll just stick with kung fu comedy.
Right now, I'm aimed to small things. To the chair, to the table, boom. Roll over, boom. The technical, small things, clever.
He's got a brand new car.
My mate said to me, "Have you seen Police Story?" I said no.
It's got levers.
He said, "See it tonight." Those were his very words. It's full of people injuring themselves on film for money. It's like snuff casualty.
The only problem I ever had with Jackie is he wanted to do every stunt himself. And I'd walk on a set and there he was, up on a bridge, 60 feet in the air. And he was going to jump down, and I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, we're going to jump from there." I said, "But if you fall, you kill yourself. You go right down. I won't fall." I said, "Get down here." And I said, "We can do the same shot 6 feet off the ground." "Yeah, but I want to do it." I said, no, you're going to do it here.
We'll start over again. Grow ourselves new skin.
I look at American movie, wow, gone, I'm finished. Because they're so good. They can jump to the 100-story building to the helicopter. I cannot do that. But the audience still like, okay, the real thing's Jackie.
Our time is quickly over. But remember this, the man who waits for roast duck to fly into his mouth must wait for very, very long time.